Focus now to the new market debutants, and there were three of them today. Western Carriers, Arkade Developers and Northern Arc made their debut on Dalal Street today. We start off with Western Carriers first up. This logistics player, it was a flat debut for them, and now the stock is trading below its IPO price. Mangalam is joining in now with more on the company. Mangalam.
Well, there are a couple of reasons why perhaps, it's been a flat listing and the stock is below its IPO price as well. They raised about 400 crore via fresh issue. The overall IPO was about 500 crore rupees. The total subscription was 30 times. Now, 30 times, is more than what was needed for the IPO to go through. But, it's a lot less than the recent 60, 70, 80, sometimes even 100 times subscription that we are seeing for IPO itself. It is India's largest private multimodal rail-focused 4PL asset-light logistics company. It's got volume shares of 6 and 2% for both domestic and EXIM businesses, respectively. They will pay about 163 crore of debt via IPO, and 151 crore would be deployed towards capex itself, for which the revenue CAGR over the last 3 years has been just a paltry 4.65%. Metals account for 53% of their revenue, FMCG and pharma the remaining for the company as well. Even if you look at the throughput volumes, from FY22 of 2.16 lakh TEUs, it's actually fallen to 2.12 lakh over the last couple of years. And a couple of things that stand out in their financials, even as the revenue has grown about 4.65%, margins have improved from 7% to closer to 8.7%. We've seen the debt for the company increase from 150 crores to 265 crores, and the EBITDA jump actually hasn't reflected in their cash flow from operations. So, cash flow from operations have decreased from 31 crores to about 22 crores. And on the other hand, the receivables for the company have increased from 59 crore to 136 crores. So until there is some improvement in their balance sheet going forward, there is some growth, etc., the street would perhaps back something like this. Maybe they would wait for some sort of growth to return and improvement in their balance sheet to come by as well.
That explains the muted debut that we've seen on this name. Thank you so much, Mangalam, for putting things into perspective. That's about Western Carriers. On the other hand, we had good listings, two of them. Let me start with the Mumbai-based realty player Arkade Developers. It saw strong listing. In fact, the stock listed at 38% premium to its issue price. Right now, it's seeing gains of around 35%, and that was expected because the subscription was very strong. It was the highest subscribed IPO in the real estate sector in the last 5 years, and it was totally subscribed at 106.19 times. So there was a lot of interest, and that is something which can be seen in the stock price as well. Now, the promoter holding before the issue was 80.17%. Post listing, it will come down to 63.33%. The company will be using these proceeds to develop ongoing and upcoming projects, general corporate purposes, and also funding of future real estate projects. Now, remember, the company is both into redevelopment and development of new projects, and remember, redevelopment has been a big opportunity that we are seeing for Mumbai-based players, and this company is expanding into that. The company, as I said, it's a Mumbai-based real estate player, and that is where they're expanding. If you look at the financials, the operating performance that the company has done in last couple of years, volumes have improved to 0.19 million square feet, collections have improved to 258 crore rupees, which compares with 170 crore rupees in the previous year. Sales in units have substantially jumped to 258 units. This compares with 87 units in FY22 itself. Now, what really worked for this company or this subscription this time around, or this IPO? One, redevelopment is something that the street liked. It is a big opportunity. Second, the valuations. If we talk about the FY24 NAV, which is the net asset value, that is how we look at these particular real estate companies. This was the lowest that we've seen across the other Mumbai-based real estate players. Arkade Developers at 21 rupees, Keystone at 157 rupees, Godrej Properties, that is in a world of its own, at 359 rupees, Macrotech at 180 rupees, and we have Suraj Estates at 148 rupees. So the valuation upside was a lot here. The redevelopment opportunity was a lot here, and that is what the street seemed to like. Yes, there are some risks with respect to cost of materials, the vendors not being the same for every project. But yes, looks like this is something that the street likes, and let's see whether the execution is as per the street's expectations.
Always the key, right? Execution. It's showing up in the price as well. The best performing stock among the three listings today is Arkade Developers, 35% higher currently at 173. The IPO price 128, and the third one on the list today was, of course, Northern Arc Capital, and that too listed at a 25% premium to its IPO price. They are trading with gains of around 21% as of now as well. So holding on to those listing gains, and as Mangalam was highlighting, right, that 30 times subscription, what otherwise on paper looks very healthy, is not the kind of subscription that you've seen through the year in most of these IPOs, and even this one was subscribed almost 118 times, and even then it's listed at a 25% premium. Now this company is it raised around 500 crores through a fresh issue of shares, and it is a non-deposit taking NBFC, and it's been operational for over a decade now, and it is operating in sectors across various sectors and geographies. Now we spoke to the management also earlier in the day, and they mentioned that they are expecting to see an improvement in margins going forward, and that has been one of the key concerns as well for most of these NBFCs and for banks as well. So they are expecting an improvement there, and 40% of the company's core business is focused on MSMEs. So it is an MSME focused company there, and the balance sheet has grown at a pace of around 31%. So it'll be interesting to see if they maintain that pace of balance sheet growth going forward as well, and that is something that the street would watch out for going forward as well.
Okay, all right. So that is Northern Arc Capital. We have those 3 listings that we wanted to talk about, but with that we'll do one thing. We'll slip into a short break.